I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
They might be going to call George Brett out.
Well, he's out.
Yes, sir.
Brett is out. Look at this. Brett is out.
He's steaming mad.
He is out.
Swung, fly ball deep left center. Grissom on the run. Yes! The Atlanta Braves have given you a championship.
Auburn going after it. Here's a good snap. It is blocked. It's caught on the run. He's going to score. David Wagner has scored, and Auburn is tied the game.
It's good. Van Tiffin has won the ball game. Alabama has beaten Auburn.
I'd like for the people to remember me as being a winner, because I ain't never been nothing but a winner.
All right, welcome in to another edition of the Total Chad Sports Podcast. We're at number 111 on the list, and so thank you so much as always for greatly supporting the stream, being a part of the live chat, retweeting, watching on YouTube, following us on TikTok, Instagram, Straight Flexin', Twitch, all those places, just being there, just taking 15-20 minutes out of your day, watching the podcast on the big screen. We greatly appreciate it. We always say every single time that we have a podcast, we're like, how in the world did we do it? Like, how are we still doing this? Why are we still doing this? Because we have a love for it. And we just love to talk what's going on in the sports world. We love to just be able to get on here for less than 2 hours normally and just talk about whatever. We also like to game, so we do a lot of gaming as well. We do, right now we're playing a lot of Grounded 2, so there's a lot of that going on. We're playing some RuneScape, but we haven't done any streams. Like, I don't know how the reaction would be to RuneScape streams, so we're not really going to do that. Because a lot of times I'm just fishing. I'm not fighting anything. I'm just sitting there fishing the entire time. Because I'm not a members, and so it's, like, kind of boring. I know Battlefield 6 is out, so there's a lot of that going on too, but there's like 300,000 players that all came out of the woodwork because Battlefield 2042 was such dog shit that, everyone's coming out of the woodwork again because, oh my gosh, you can destroy things, or, oh my gosh, you can take the blowtorch and make obscene pictures on it and stuff, or play tic-tac-toe on it, because that's all that, Battlefield streamers even care about. I'm going to hold my breath on Battlefield 6, just like I'm going to hold my breath on Happy Gilmore 2. I haven't seen it yet. I probably won't see it. I mean, I probably will eventually, because the first movie was so great, and the fact that people thought that the second movie is better than the first one, or that they just thought it was really funny in general, I don't agree. Like, I saw a lot of bad acting, and it's a lot of, like, content creator YouTubers that are a part of it, and it's like I can't buy into sequels that don't need a sequel. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I got to give it a chance. But it's like making Waterboy 2 or Billy Madison 2. Like, you just can't do it. Like, you can't ruin an original with some Netflix money grabbing piece of trash that I think Happy Gilmore 2 was. I mean, even the fact that Shooter McGavin's back, making commercials, saying things, having Subway promote these stupid plastic cups, the commemorative cups for the show. Like, I can't buy into that. You know what I mean? I just can't. I mean, it's like making 3 Hobbit movies. Like, you can't make 3 Hobbit movies. Really, 2 would have done just fine. Or, hell, just one really long one would have been okay. But anyway, I digress. So, like I said before, and like I've said many times before, if you want to subscribe on the Twitch stream, it's only $5.99 a month. You can also do it for free, technically, if you have Twitch Prime. But if you'd like to donate to the stream, you can go to $ Coach Grizzle or Venmo me at Mass Braves. You can also put a little, memo on there if you want it to go to a local charity, whether it's the Greater Humane Society or whether it is the Walked In Alzheimer's. Those are 2 big charities that I like to help out with. course, that's where I got this beautiful dog over here, Lady Bird, as she's laying down, just enjoying herself from the Greater Humane Society. But also the Walk to End Alzheimer's charity that, you either know somebody that is dealing with it, you have a family member that's dealing with it, you just know about it, or you're just someone that would like to help. There are many ways to be a part of that. And, just getting up and doing the Walk to End Alzheimer's charity events that they have in your local town. That's the best way to do it too, just to raise awareness. And it's something that has been huge in my life. Grandfather deals with it. My grandmother passed away from it. It's just hard to talk about and hard to get through as a family member, because how those types of people are going to act or react or basically just say things that they shouldn't and say things that they don't mean because they just can't control it. And it's a terrible disease that just kind of takes over. And eventually it's just like, passing away is the best thing because it just eats away at someone that you looked up to and someone that you really care about. And it's hard on families, especially if that's your mother or father, to just sit there and watch someone that has been the rock or someone that's been, the focal point of your family. And so it's just something that's huge on my mind. Well, we wanted to talk a lot about basically, we were going to talk Braves baseball, some Trash Pandas in there, some Clingstones as well. And then we were going to talk some Falcons preseason. And it was a good game throughout. It was really fun to watch, to be honest with you. For a preseason game, the first half was really fun to watch. Both teams played really well. Kyle Allen went 7 for 8, had 2 touchdowns. Easton Stick played really well for the Falcons. 15 of 18, 149 yards and a touchdown. Emory Jones is Emory Jones, but he didn't get to play a whole lot. And the fact that the Falcons front office loves these. I get it. He's just going to be a camp arm, or, maybe Easton Stick's the camp arm. Maybe Emory Jones doesn't even make the team. Maybe they keep 4 quarterbacks. But Emory Jones, man, I swear, that dude was on 3 different colleges. The fact that they just love these really bad Florida quarterbacks because the Falcons brought back Felipe Franks. So, and at one time tried to play him at quarterback. And the fact that they try to play him at tight end is just laughable. But it was a good game throughout, I thought, in my opinion. Wide receivers played really well. Didn't get to see a whole lot of them. Would have liked to see more out of Nick Nash. He had 3 catches for 35 yards. But Dylan Drummond had 8 receptions for 63 yards. David Sills, the 5th. He looked pretty good for this 1 catch for 15 yards. Don't know who's going to kind of fill that void for Mooney. And hopefully he'll be back week 1. But I would have liked to seen better out of the defense. Seeing the 2 rookies out there and James Pierce and Jalen Walker off the edge looked really good, but they looked very young. And James Pierce a lot of times was flying upfield. There was a couple of times, actually a few times, he got chip blocked. It just wasn't very good out of him. And you kind of hope that he can kind of be coached that. He's just young. Maybe he can figure that out. I will say this, as many times as he got chipped, many times as he got crack blocked, he took it well. Didn't see him try to throw someone's helmet, try to swing at anybody, try to fight anybody, but the intensity was there. There was also the DeMarco Helms hit, which was not illegal. But of course, you have a referee who's throwing a flag really right even before the play even happens. And the fact that you think, I got something itchy in my nose. The fact that you think that play was dirty and the whole sideline, of course, you're going to defend your guy. You're going to defend your teammate. But you got to be like, whoa, that was a great hit. You got to admit, that was a great hit. I've seen some great hits on teammates playing contact sports. And it's like, as long as they're good, they're good. And it's good hits too. No crown to the helmet, none of that garbage. Straight shoulder hits. getting your feet taken out from under you. Yeah, it looks crazy. But there wasn't nothing wrong with that. But what I was speaking on, the defense, of course, D. Alford still looks like he has no idea how to play football. He had a fumble recovery tonight that was really started off by Brandon Dorless, who created the first hit. And then Josh Woods came in there, who tonight played flawlessly. 7 total tackles, 6 solo. He had 1 tackle for loss. He had a forced fumble on Hendon Hooker, and which led to the D. Alford recovery. But Josh Woods played lights out. I hope that he gets a lot of time at linebacker. I hope he gets a lot of chances to do something this season. Didn't see a whole lot out of Xavier Watts. Had 1 tackle, I believe. Yeah, had 1 tackle. You had Kobe Bryant, who had 3 total tackles. They were 3 all solo. DeMarco Hellams had 3 with 2. Of course, the sweet hit that was not illegal. That was not illegal at all. And the fact that, like, if that was a finable offense, like, that's insane. If that was, that's absolutely stupid, because there was nothing malicious about that. I'm trying to use big words. There was nothing awful about that hit. Lenny Krieg, it was 1 for 2 on field goals. He hit a 57-yarder. I mean, Jake Bates also hit his only field goal tonight. It was 57 yards. It's easy to kick inside, okay? Let's see what happens when you're not kicking in a dome. Both of these kickers kick in domes. Younghoe Koo, does he get the job? Who knows? We'll have to see. But the crazy thing about tonight's game, and we can talk about, most of what happened statistically and everything like that, but let's kind of focus on what happened the first play of the fourth quarter. Maurice Norris is trying to make a tackle, dives in there against Nathan Carter. His head goes back, hits his knee. I can't show it to you because YouTube will act like an asshole and say I'm copywriting or whatever, when everybody's over here copywriting movies and putting music behind it, but there's no issues there. So I'm going to explain to you, because you can see it on Twitter. You can hit it up on our X. I've got the X feed. You know what I mean? Like, if I tried to show it to you, like, I'm sure that YouTube will act like an ass about it. But, the fact that there was a lot of good stuff out of it, let's not talk about the Xavier leg. We can talk about that later, because that man tried to take a double leg on another player, and it wasn't very good in the eyes of a wrestling coach. But, you see the scenes, you see the pictures. I can at least show you pictures. Because at least pictures, nobody will get mad because it's not a video. I didn't play any audio, whatever. But this was right after the, second play of the game? Where Emory Jones basically just hiked the ball. And they all just stood there. Then they got together, huddled up, and prayed. Because Maurice Norris came in, tried to make a tackle. Looked like a regular tackle, honestly. Looked like a typical football tackle. Head went back, fell to the ground, and started seizing up. Had to put him on a stretcher. The game was paused for 25, 30 minutes. The clock ran for the longest time without even really calling another play. So from 15:50 or something, 14:50 or something like that, from when the game from the first play when that happened, obviously got stopped because of an injury. The second play went on from 14:50 or 14:54 or something like that, was barely into the game or into the fourth quarter. And they hiked the ball, didn't do anything. So for a solid 8, even the radio broadcast went to went to a break and went to the post-game show and started talking about stuff, which one of my favorite guys from Alabama, Mike Johnson, does a lot of that on the Atlanta Falcons radio network. And then Bo Morgan, my guy from 92.9 The Game, co-host with Mike Johnson, does a lot of the board op and engineering behind the scenes. Basically, they put it to a break, talked about it a little bit, and then finally got back to the game. Well, they sat there for like, I mean, it had to have been like, in real life, it had to have been like 25, 30 minutes. And everyone wanted to say that the NFL called the game and suspended the game after Hockley walked out there with like 6 minutes left in the game. It was like 6:56. It was like a total of 8 minutes of clock. It was like 25, maybe 20, 25 minutes of the game. Hockley walks out there and goes, the league has suspended the game. Nah, the players made a decision to suspend the game and did not want to continue playing this worthless ass preseason, week 1 game. And like realistically, like a lot of these guys that were playing at that time need to get tape, need to get a roster spot. We'll get, like, some guys will get cut in 2 weeks. No, they will get cut in 2 weeks. We may not see a lot of those names that are right there on that picture. That picture right there, we probably won't see a lot of these dudes. At least they'll be scout teamers. But the fact that all the players came together, all the coaches, Raheem Morris and Dan Campbell came together and made the decision to close out the game was huge. I mean, there was a lot that was said. I mean, there wasn't a lot that was said. There was a total of under 3 minutes. It was like 2 minutes and 37 seconds. And then the rest of the broadcast for the press conference for Raheem Morris just sat there and went. Now, I didn't watch any of the Dan Campbell one, but I do have a quote from in the update for Maurice Norris. But Raheem Morris was asked, because like there was 4 questions total. Like nothing to coach was football related. It was all about the injury related. Raheem Morris said on the decision to run out the clock, Dan and myself, respect for his family. Maurice Norris, it was that simple. That's all he said. Then he was asked about the injury and if he had ever seen it before. And he said a lot of times that happens. I can't sit here and tell you that I've been through a lot or seen a lot of those. That was the moment. That was the decision. It was the right thing to do for our football team. I mean, mad respect to Raheem Morris and Dan Campbell and the players for getting together and ending that game, because there was no reason to continue to play that game. Like, you can't tell me. People are trying to compare a lot of this to the Damar Hamlin situation. The Damar Hamlin situation was a regular season game. That mattered. This was a preseason game where it's like, no, like you should have just been like, okay, instead of worrying about the money, instead of worrying about, what you're going to profit out of this, NFL, you probably should care about the person. Because that's awful. I think DeMarco Hellum said when he was interviewed that it was like he had never, like a lot of these players had never seen that, but they also couldn't really speak on that either. But they really haven't ever said that. I think Easton Stick said the same thing. But DeMarco Hellum said he saw something in high school was something relatable. But this is high school. Like they're younger guys. And he said they recovered, they got better, all those types of things. These are older players. Don't know how he's going to react to this. Falcons wide receiver Casey Washington was asked about the situation. He said some things are bigger than football, because it is. Situations like that, all you can do is pray for his family, Maurice Norris, of course, and hope that he's all right. But it was tough. It's hard. It is hard. Football is a hard sport. It is a tough sport. You are going to get banged up. You are going to have injuries. You had the Ravens player yesterday, tear his ACL. You had Anthony Richardson break his pinky the opposite way. Now, I have seen the Anthony Richard situation. I have seen that in powder puff, flag football, whatever you want to call it nowadays. Because we used to call it when we were younger. We used to have this thing called the powder puff game. And it was a game between our girls from our school that wanted to play. And it was against our rival school. And they played a flag football game that we all came out to. It was a great time. And I saw a girl with her ring finger like going this way, like the opposite way that your ring finger should go. Like it was pointing down. Like Anthony Richardson's pinky was like that way. So it's going to be hard to grip the ball. So whatever we call it, powder puff, now it's flag football for everybody. And like that's different. Anthony Richardson probably could play in like 5 to 6 weeks. I don't know. I haven't seen the timetable. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I didn't stay at a Motel 6, Holiday Inn, whatever. But the situation with Maurice Norris, the fact that the league was like, oh yeah, we're going to keep playing. And then it was like, oh wait, no, these guys are serious. Like maybe we should not look like a bunch of asses. So shame on you, NFL, for continuing to try to play this game. When a bunch of players were like, oh, hell no, we going to do what we going to do. But good news, Dan Campbell, good news, Dan Campbell said that, I believe this was him, because I know I tweeted from this, because I think Dan said this, or maybe this is just an update. I saw that it was like an update where he talked about it. Maurice Norris is in stable condition and has feeling and movement in all of his extremities. He will remain at Grady Memorial Hospital in Atlanta overnight for observation. We would like to thank the Atlanta Falcons organization, the EMS team, and at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and the doctors and staff at Grady for their support. So shout out, much prayers to the Norris family, to Maurice Norris, to the football world, to the football family, because that injury was wild. Like it was crazy. Like there was no need for any of that. And it's tough. It's really tough. Like I just hate seeing something like that out of a player. And it's like you have the whole world watching you. You have the whole NFL world watching you. And it just sucks to see a fellow teammate like that. Because like, I'll say shame on the NFL too, or shame on the broadcast for continuing to show him on the ground seizing up. At first, you don't even see him seizing up at first. They show him on the ground, on his side, and it was great what the medical team was able to do. But the fact that he was on the ground, you could see his teammates already like hand on their heads, looking away, doing all these things. And then they zoom out and like show him on the ground, like shaking. Like you should have known, NFL, from the fact that he was shaking, that it was like, oh yeah, this isn't good. Yeah, it's like, oh, we probably shouldn't put this on the air anymore. We probably shouldn't be in the game, because nobody wanted to play that game, whether it was a Lions player or a Falcons player. And everybody, the whole time Easton Stick's getting interviewed, he's just like, can't talk on that. You know, thoughts and prayers to the Norris family and just to him and everything. Then they just like, the media sucks. You know what I mean? Like the media, I used to work as a media member, but I don't ask shitty questions like that. I would just be in that room. If I was a media person in that room, in that locker room, I just keep my fucking mouth shut. There's nothing to be said. That's the reason why you only get 4 questions out of Raheem Morris without even really asking him anything. But it's certain types of media people that piss me off and try to like kiss the ass of the NFL or kiss the ass of the team. Like, I get it. You don't want to say negative things about your team because they won't ask you back. But like, you're over here like, closer to the hole, sir. Like the whole like Charlie Kelly It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like sucking up to the NFL or sucking up to a higher being like that, where it's like, oh yeah, the NFL said it was okay. No, fuck no. Both coaches came together because all the players came together and said, fuck that, we're not playing anymore. So like, shame on the media. To like, we're all human too, media. Like you, and when we want to talk about act like you've been there before, half of the fucking media hasn't played football, couldn't play football, definitely wasn't in the NFL, definitely didn't play college football, and have no right to talk about or say stupid shit like that. Because, in my opinion, that's just fucked up. Like read the room, people. Like, it's insane. It's just insane. And it sucks because that injury took away from what I thought was a really, really good preseason football game. I mean, hell, the whole weekend has been pretty good. The whole weekend was great. Yesterday was great. You had the Eagles third stringers over here beating up the Bengals first teamers. And then you had Jamar Chase making everybody on the Eagles who's either going to play in the CFL or whatever the fuck the UFL is going to be. If it's still going to, I think it's still going to be the UFL. Shame on them for taking Birmingham out of Birmingham. But you had Baltimore winning against Indianapolis 24-16. You had Philly winning 34-27. You had Las Vegas and Seattle tying the game. And then, of course, you had like the most iconic Geno Smith thing ever, where like everybody's been doubting him for like the longest time. I had the picture on here. Granted, the fan that he was talking to, or that it was aiming at, is a jackass. But everybody seems to be taking this content. Everyone seems to be taking this picture and making their own content out of it. But double birds by Geno Smith. Because he's back in Seattle, getting that Seattle 12th man love. But they tie into their game in a tie. It's preseason. Who cares? Detroit gets a win, 17-10 over the Falcons, which, granted, I was more impressed this year or this game watching the Falcons second and third and fourth stringers, like guys that are gonna get maybe some reps, or guys that are gonna maybe get some playing time, or guys that maybe get cut, actually play the hardest, playing to the ball, especially with the Josh Woods recovery, or the D. Alford recovery, I should say, but the forced fumble by Josh Woods. Playing to the ball, tackling. You know, they did give up some huge, out of position runs. Flying, like I said, James Pierce Jr. flying upfield. That stuff's coachable. Yeah, Jalen Walker not really making a whole huge dent in that. But it was like, you're watching it and you're watching the guys that are there before. Natrone Brooks. It's one of my favorite guys to sit there and watch. He's a scout teamer. But he's making plays. He's getting tackles. Cleveland beat the shit out of Carolina. Everybody wants to praise Shadur Sanders and his 2 touchdowns. And ESPN over here, Shadur shines in preseason debut. What did he have? Like 139 yards? 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he was 14 of 23 against a bunch of dudes that aren't even going to be on the roster next year. A bunch of dudes that will be CFL, UFL, XFL, indoor football players, a bunch of scrubs, a bunch of bums. But let's do the Bronny James treatment and say that he should be the starter and all these other things. You literally had First Take earlier today talk about how he's getting shafted and how the Browns want him to not succeed, but yet threw him out there and played him. Dylan Gabriel didn't play. But you went out there and you saw Shedeur Sanders because he's Deion Sanders' kid. And nepotism is the greatest characteristic trait that you can have on this God-given earth. You can be one of the worst players ever, but it doesn't matter. You can be like Bronny James and get a roster spot because of who your daddy is. Shedeur Sanders the same way. Dude's talented. Don't get me wrong. I think he's talented. But I think he's very cocky, and I just don't buy into him being like this franchise quarterback like everyone else tries to do. And the fact that we sit here and you have to have, like, even if you have an opinion on the subject, you're an asshole because everybody else loves him. It's like not enjoying the WNBA. I don't enjoy the WNBA at all. I think it's terrible basketball. I would pay to watch 15U boys basketball because it's more entertaining. They would beat the brakes out of the best WNBA team 10 out of 10 times. I would watch, if you could give me the option, because high school football is about to start. And they always do the really good teams. IMG Academy, St. Thomas Aquinas, all these great high school football teams, right? Give me some high school football from my area that's not Thompson, Hoover, Vestavia, Auburn. Like, give me some local football on TV that's not the local brand TV. Give me an ears. I get it. Nobody's getting nobody money. The thing is, it's football. We love football. We watch spring football, or most of us do. Some of us do. But I would sit here and watch high school football that's not on the NFHS network, that I don't have to pay $14 an hour or $14 a month or $14 a game, whatever the hell it comes out to being. And I can watch like one game out of the week, make it a game of the week. And they did that a couple times where they had different states and they played like different games. Like, let me watch a game from here on NBC, on CBS, whether it's local or not. But just put it on there with an actual good broadcast. There's some guys around this area, this neck of the woods, that are going to go to, Power 4 schools. That's going to happen. That's already happening. There's guys going to Bama. There's guys going all over the place. So don't sit here and tell me that he's all this great, getting back to what I was talking about. Don't sit here and tell me that Shedeur Sanders is this great franchise quarterback because he played against the Carolina Panthers. Fourth stringers, third stringers, whatever. Bryce Young played tonight and looked awful because his offensive line is bad. Carolina is bad. Welcome, Clutch Sports Media 365. It's bad. It's just bad. But New England beat the brakes out of Washington 48-18. What are we thinking? New England's going to be a powerhouse in the East? Like, they're going to be some great AFC East team with Drake May? Like, I'm not buying into it. It's preseason. Like, stop going crazy over preseason. That's the reason why I really didn't go so crazy about the Falcons preseason opener, because I've seen in the past, like, no heart, but there's a lot of talent. Tonight, there's a lot of talent, but a lot of heart. That's the one thing I'm pumped up about, is seeing guys want to tackle somebody or seeing guys want to get into it. DeMarco Helms flipping off the entire Lions sideline. I'm cool with that. Exactly. Too much hype for the preseason. What are your thoughts on it? I think that, like, we just buy into that and we love it. And, like, obviously the league loves it too. A lot of people say that they shouldn't play the preseason. They only have 3 games now. Unless you play in that Pro Bowl game, you only have 3 games. But guys are still getting hurt. Oh, we should end the preseason because the dude from the Ravens, still don't remember his name. Dude from the Ravens tore his ACL. Anthony Richardson broke his finger. you know, Maurice Norris had a situation where he seized up on the field, but now he's at least coherent, stable, all those types of things. But it's kind of like the DeMar Hamlin thing too. It's like they would have wanted you to play on. They would have wanted you to continue to do what you're doing. Call me an old school. Call me an old man. Whatever you want. Get off my lawn, guy. Whatever. But I mean, like, we still would have played on. I'm not that old. I'm 35 years old. But yet, the game still would have gone on. Even 15 years ago, when I'm 20 years old watching games. If you didn't watch, so Maurice Norris goes in for a tackle. His head kind of like jars back like this. I could show it to you, but I feel like that YouTube's going to sit here and tell me that it's a copyright, and then I'll have to mute the entire thing I talk about. So I'm just going to talk about it. Goes in for a tackle on Nathan Carter, the running back for the Falcons. Head flies back, and he gets on his side and starts seizing up. They had to put him on a stretcher. They delayed the game for like 25, 30 minutes. It was like 20, 25 minutes maybe at the max. Maybe I don't know if it was like in real life, 8 minutes in a game is like almost like the whole fourth quarter is like 35, 45 minutes, almost another hour, right? Like the whole second half is like another hour and a half. Like a game realistically is like 3-something hours, right? It's not like baseball where they're trying to make it 2-something or whatever. But you got the first play of the fourth quarter. Goes in for a tackle, basically jars his head back. Looks like a regular, jump, like basically a regular diving tackle. Head goes flying back because Nathan Carter's knee goes into his head. He gets on the ground, starts seizing up. So then the very next play, it's like 14:56. The very next play, Emory Jones just kind of hikes the ball and everybody just stands there. And like we said earlier in the podcast, these are a bunch of dudes that literally need the tape. These are dudes that need time on the field. These are guys that will be cut in 2 weeks, let alone will be cut next week. If you've watched enough Hard Knocks, in that last 2 weeks before the season's about to start, they will cut it to the 53-man roster. They'll only have so many guys, and then they'll have to re-sign guys to be on the practice squad. And a lot of these guys may not make the practice squad. So the NFL was like, all right, let's just keep playing. So for almost 8 minutes from the second play, you have Sean Hockley go out there and say, the game has been suspended. And everybody, including the media, which we talked about this earlier, we're just kind of reiterating for everyone that's joining. Everyone is like, even the media, because they want to kiss the ass of the NFL, is like, oh, the NFL made that decision. Hell no. For 20 fucking minutes, you're telling me for almost 30 minutes, you sat there and was like, well, we'll think about it. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. We might. No, the players made that decision. The players were like, fuck you, we're doing this our way. In a worthless ass preseason week 1 game, or really, I guess it's week 1 because the Hall of Fame game's like week 0 of the preseason. Yeah. Yeah, check it out. Just type in Maurice Norris injury on Twitter and you'll see it. I probably could find it. I mean, I can do it without the sound. I took out the sound. Let me find it real quick. I can show you the play. Because the play itself was like wild. Because I've shown pictures of obviously the players coming together and making the circle, the prayer circle, and just not, here's a better close up of it. Because I have it muted, so you're not going to be able to hear it. So I'm just going to play that. So he dove in and his head went back like that. So watch it again. Like, he dives in and it's not that bad of a play. It kind of looks like he kind of got trucked. You know what I mean? And everyone kind of thought that, you know, it wasn't that bad. But you see it, like, initially, like, when it happens, and then, like, the camera's towards Nathan Carter, and you see, like, two of the Lions players just go like this, or, like, put their hands on their head, and they're just like, oh, shit. Like, they're like, oh, shit. You know, basically. And then, of course, like, right after that happened, you have this, where they all form up. This is not as good. This looks like someone else took this picture, because there's other. This is Robert Griffin III. There's other photos of it that I have on my profile that are better than that one. Like, here's the video. Like, there's a video what they, because look, it's 12:32. I mean, look at this. It's 12:32, and the clock is going, and they're forming a circle. This was right after that second play. It's second and 2. He got like an 8-yard gain out of that first run. This is 2nd and 2. And it was like 14:50 something, and it went 8 minutes long. And you're going to tell me that the NFL said, oh, fuck that. We're going to do this. Like, hell no. Like, this is the best picture I've seen. Let me pull it up a little bit more, because that wasn't very good. Because you can't really see it. There you go. That was that. That was the real circle. And it's just awful. It's just truly awful. Like, I was going to talk about this game. I was going to give my opinion on everything. It's the preseason. You know, I broke down, you know, a lot of the statistics that happened tonight, a lot of the good things, a lot of the good plays out of the defense, a lot of the bad plays out of the defense, a lot of the good plays out of backup quarterbacks, you know, the decent playing, the decent showing out of the wide receivers, all those types of things. Lenny Krieg with 1 out of 2 field goal, you know, hitting a 57, which you're inside. Let's see what happens when you're out in the elements. You know, we talked about all those types of things. Like, we wanted to talk about the Braves and how bad they were. But we've been talking for like 40 minutes now on just this alone. And having people, like, get on here. Really, that's tricky. That oh shit moment. Yeah, that was wild. They just took the field, then they canceled. Yeah. So, like, for a solid 8 minutes, like, I even said this earlier on the podcast, the radio broadcast for 92.9 The Game out of Atlanta. I like to listen to the radio broadcast. I know a couple of guys. Bo Morgan runs the boards. He's the producer, engineer of the radio network. Mike Johnson, former offensive lineman for the Falcons and the Alabama Crimson Tide. One of my favorite football players. Like, just all around good guys. Used to coach in the Atlanta scene too for a little while before he got into radio. And, like, they went to a break and talked until he finally got on a stretcher, and then they can finally just, and the whole time, like, the announcers are like, all right, maybe. All right, we might get back to it. Dave Archer was like, I don't know, we might. And it was just such a bad scene. And I said, shame on the NFL for taking forever to cancel the game. And also, shame on the NFL or Fox or whoever the hell was doing the broadcast to sit there and show the dude season up, Maurice Norris. It sucks. I've never seen something like that. I have been knocked the fuck out on a crack block. I had no business playing football in my freshman year. Okay? And I got crack block playing linebacker, which I had no business playing linebacker. And the guy that played cornerback did not yell crack, 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 crack. And I got ear holed in the head, knocked the fuck out, got woke up from smelling salts. That's probably the second concussion I've probably had in my life. One time I got slammed on my head in wrestling, but I didn't seize up. I got knocked the fuck out. I got slammed. I didn't seize up. I don't know if I seized up in football, but I know I didn't seize up in wrestling because I got slammed on my head and went 90 nights. But football, never had that happen, never seen that happen. I've seen someone break their femur the Joe Theismann way. Like, no shit. Happened in a high school game my senior year, I believe. Yeah, my senior year. Dude he was either making a tackle or got trucked, like obviously making a tackle. Linebacker for us, one of our best players on our team. Leg got bent backwards like Joe Theismann. Had the same injury too. But I have never seen anything like that. I mean, the Damar Hamlin thing, he got hit in the chest. You know, even the Damar Hamlin thing, it looked like a regular ass tackle. It didn't look like it was anything serious. And he just kind of fell to the ground. Thing about right here is he jumps, lunges for the tackle, looks like a regular tackle. And it kind of looks like I said, he kind of looks like he just got trucked. And boom, he's on the ground. He's not he's seizing, but he's not really responding. He's not moving. Gets put on a stretcher, gets taken out of there. And it sucks. Like, it really sucks. Like I said, it took, I mean, as awful as it was, it took away from what was really a really good preseason week 1 game. And I'm sure they'll talk about it. ESPN will run that shit for the next week. Hopefully they'll talk about that instead of talking about what the fuck LeBron ate yesterday or whatever the hell Shadur Sanders did this past weekend, because that's all ESPN cares about. If it's not the WNBA season right now and all the dildos that are getting thrown out on the court, which I think is honestly hilarious. I mean, you have bettors out here betting on this shit of like when or how or what is going to be thrown out on the court. And like, in my opinion, I think it's kind of funny. I mean, it's childish, but I mean, come on. Tua getting slammed on his head. Tua rolling out against Mississippi State and getting slammed on his shoulder. You had the Tua was like the hand thing. That was the thing about Tua. Like that's like when you club a baby seal, which I don't condone. It's what you call clubbing a baby seal. And like, it just like, it was bad. I mean, truly awful stuff. Like, I've never seen, like, I saw somebody, there was a guy my junior year, we were playing a team down in Birmingham, and the guy got like knocked. I mean, he knocked the piss, like one of my teammates. He knocked the absolute piss out of this wide receiver. Dude was down for a while. Dude eventually got up, but knocked the absolute piss out of this guy. Did not play the rest of the game. Now, we got our shit rocked. It's like one of the last times we made, it's like one of the last times like we really made a trip down to Birmingham that I can remember to really play a team from that area or take that length of a trip to that area and play a team in that area. And dude just knocked the absolute piss out of him. And that's just kind of how it went. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, Ryan Shazier. I mean, there's a ton of different scenarios or different instances in the NFL that we can sit here and talk about. But it's like, it seems like, here's the thing. They don't tackle. They don't ever even have full padded practices more than 2 or 3 times a week. Nobody tackles we've talked about this in the last podcast. Nobody tackles in youth football. No, because somebody was asking me about his son playing it, and he's like 8 years old, and I'm like, don't play your kid at 8 years old and tackle football. Let him play flag. Don't care how big he is. Don't care how small he is. Let him play flag football at 8 years old. Don't go out there and let him jostle his head around, get hit a certain way, because my little brother was not a very big kid in high school. He's taller than me, but he's lankier than me. But when he was like 8 years old, he looked pretty dumpy and he was bigger. And they made him play offensive line. He had no business playing the offensive line just because he was a bigger kid. Shit, they don't hit in middle school. They don't hit in high school. They don't know how to hit. They really don't know how to hit. And you can't really go old school and try to like do these crazy tackling drills like I was used to when I was in high school, where you basically walked a corner and you let someone just ear hole the shit out of you. It didn't look good. You're over here trying to give brain damage to a bunch of players before we even get into the thing. You got position drills where you're doing it with your own, where you're tackling your own position. And it's still scary as hell, looks awful, dangerous as fuck. But you at least tried to like teach how to tackle. And they don't really do that anymore. They tackle dummies. They do all these types of things. They're not in real life. I sat there and played a 37U league. We are not, mind you, we are not in pads. I realized real quick, I never should have played football in high school, and damn sure never should have played football at 27. Probably had a third concussion at that time. Was running, like doing like a pursuit drill, or doing like really a tackling drill, but it was like a slow down, don't really go too hard, blah, blah, without pads. And we were in an indoor facility, and I'm running. And this big-ass dude that played linebacker, played a little bit of defensive line too, just hits the fuck out of me. And I'm talking like in the body, did not feel great. I feel like I have cracked ribs, constantly cracking when I do something from that hit. And that's an issue. Like, you only had probably a handful of padded practices before you got into this padded practice. And I wonder how they're going to do, like, when they do joint practices, because, like, the Falcons are doing joint practices with the Titans on the 13th and 14th. So I wonder, like which is next week. I wonder what, like, that's going to do when you don't do that. You're not in full pads, or you're in shells, or whatever. You're not really learning how to tackle. You're not really tackling much anymore. It's just crazy. It just sucks to see. Let's see. We don't have that on. We were going to talk about the Trash Pandas. We were going to talk about the Clingstones. Trash Pandas, by the way, have lost 7 straight. Clingstones have won 5 in a row. 4 out of them are coming from the Trash Pandas alone. They've won 6 out of the last 7 after losing 4 in a row against the Clingstones. The Trash Pandas are on a 7-game losing streak. Probably going to get, if it keeps going like this, Oscar Colas hit a damn grand slam tonight. He had a grand salami tonight. But it's funny how 2 of my favorite teams that I root for can't hit the ball to save their damn life. They have great pitching. Or hell, even the pitching that the Braves have right now. Which, by the way, Carlos Carrasco pitched yesterday, for people that say they pay attention to the Braves, but just talk out of their ass and can't remember who the player was. Just like Aiden Connell from the Las Vegas Raiders. Like, get your shit straight. Like, actually know who you're talking about. I don't know who that Ravens player is still. I still haven't looked it up or care. Sad that he tore his ACL, but I'm not going to look like an idiot trying to say his name wrong. But you've seen it. If you haven't, go look it up. You can probably find it. I never said that I was the best at talking about stuff or I know everything. I like to give my opinion, and I like to at least not sound like a moron when I get on the mic. It's not hard for me to do. It's very easy for me to sound like a moron on the mic. But the fact that the Braves can't hit, the Trash Pandas can't hit, but they got great pitching. Mitch Ferris, by the way, in the doubleheader in the first game, pitching for the Trash Pandas. He's over here pitching 6 innings. It's because it's doubleheader, so they only play 7 innings. Pitched 6 innings, gave up 2 runs. Got 9 Ks. Landon Harper pitched a damn complete game, or not a complete game, well, complete game, but gave up no runs. Gave up a couple hits, but gave up no runs. Granted, it's 7 innings, but I at least try to get on here and talk about certain things. And I don't act like I know everything. I just try to get my facts straight. I try to, reiterate what coaches are saying. I try to listen to the press conferences and try to give my take on what the coach has said. Or I'll just give you word for word what the coach said because I'm typing it out and putting it on my X feed. Or I'm putting it on my Facebook feed for people to read. I didn't listen too much because, we could sit here and transition back to football and talk about Auburn. I really didn't pay attention too much of what the last, 2 days ago that Hugh Freeze was talking about. How they just had, really a bad practice. That's all you need to know. Young guys stepping up, young guys pushing other guys. I mean, that's really what's going on right now. I did see a video of Perry Thompson talking about the differences in the way the ball's thrown between Peyton Thorne, who most people from Moron Land will talk about how he was from Mississippi State when he went to Michigan State. But the fact that Perry Thompson basically said that the ball being thrown by Jackson Arnold, talking about how the ball's kind of been thrown by certain players or just basically the difference. Literally threw him under the bus a little bit. Because Peyton Thorne wasn't very good. And shout out to Peyton Thorne, though, with the situation that's going on with his family. Much love to him. But talking about how Deuce Knight and Jackson Arnold, the way that they throw the ball is very good. And it's comparable to Walker White, who probably should have started the entire year last year instead of Peyton Thorne. Because most people say Peyton Thorne was holding them back. He said out of the defense, 2 guys that really stood out were Bryce Dees and Xavier Watkins. Both are freshmen. Xavier Atkins. Xavier Atkins is a transfer linebacker at LSU. So 2 young freshman linebackers. But that's the thing. Look, that's the thing about Auburn. Their secondary was one of the best things they had last year and the year before. But Auburn is one of those teams that's known for their defensive line and linebackers. Eugene Asante should have gone higher, in my opinion. I think he went undrafted. So there's no reason for he should have gone undrafted. He should have actually had a better chance. But that's the thing about Auburn is they have great linebackers and defensive line. They don't usually necessarily have the best secondary. Now they had really good, I would say, quality pieces in the secondary. But when we look at Auburn, it's the defensive line's really good or the linebackers are good. And Hugh Freeze said earlier in some of the other press conferences that defensive line has 6 or 7 guys they can sit there and rotate around. They say the same thing about the offensive line. Connor Lew, the fact that Connor Lew is a staple of that and a senior, a leader, all those types of things, even Hugh Freeze has said really positive things about the offensive line. because Connor Liu is a Remington trophy watch list. So I hate, because that's really all we're going to talk about right now, because I haven't really focused on that. Hopefully, we're going to be able to go to the 4 games that I asked for credentials this year for the for Auburn. But the fact that I'm watching my teams that I care for just struggle to hit the ball, or just absolutely have terrible base running like the Braves do, or just swinging at shit again, like Michael Harris swinging at dog shit again, like dog shit in the dirt, after looking so good for a solid couple of weeks, and then just dog shit again. And everybody being an online baseball manager and knowing exactly what the Braves need, or saying that the pitching is this or the batting is doing that. The batting is awful. I've already said this, and you can clip it whatever you want. Fire every fucking hitting coach, every assistant hitting coach, every person that deals with hitting analytics and all that bullshit. Fire them. I was watching something where, and granted, this is a sports website that is mostly Homer Braves talk. All right. And they were looking at possible candidates. Snicker hasn't lost his job yet, or will. I don't know. But the fact that you think a former player, Mark DeRosa, who right now is doing well with USA Baseball and has a really good job on the MLB Network. But then you got like David Ross coming out of the woodwork and saying that David Ross would be the next man, or a good candidate for the job. Or I've got a great one. Walt Weiss, who's had managerial experience, is literally the second guy behind Brian Snitker. And you're going to tell me what you're watching right now, that Walt Weiss is the next fucking best thing for the Braves? Get the fuck out of here. And the fact that everyone's an online manager and thinks, oh yeah, the Braves, man, that pitching is just awful. That bullpen is just awful. The bullpen was one of the best things going for a while. You can't do much when you can't bitch at Carlos Carrasco, Eric Fetty, Joey Wentz. I guarantee you I could ask more on land. All those players, they have no fucking clue what I'm talking about. But you're going to sit there and tell me, even Bryce Elder, you're going to tell me that these pitchers who really don't belong on the team, they're just, it's like the replacements in football. They're just hired guns, basically. They're mercenaries. Granted, Bryce Elder wasn't very good tonight, but he pitched pretty well last time. Dylan Dodd is still Dylan Dodd. He ain't a great starter, so you ain't going to call him up. J.R. Ritchie is with the Stripers right now. He's pitching really well. You got Ian Mejia for the Clingstones. He's pitching real well, but they're not going to call him up. Drew Hackenberg could probably get called up and take out some innings. Yet Houston Waldrop, who granted somebody that watches the podcast ain't the biggest Houston Waldrop fan because he went and saw him live and he looked like dog shit. But how about Houston Waldrop going in there, pitching on short notice for Spencer Strider, who got taken out of the Stadium Series. And this man goes in there, pitches lights out, and Rob Manfred's over here making this motherfucker get driven 5.5 hours while he gives the other guy, the other young guy for the Reds, a fucking plane. Tell me how that makes sense. Hopefully he got a plane on the way back. But you got even Houston Waldrop that could get called up at any time too. These are all young pitchers. But we want to talk about how great Chris Sale, who's a Cy Young winner, Spencer Schwellenbach, AJ Smith-Shawver, all the Reynaldo Lopez, who realistically, Reynaldo Lopez came out the fucking woodwork because he was on 2 different teams and the Angels basically gave him up And the Braves, he was on like the Tigers and the Angels. And they basically just gave him up. The Braves scooped him up, and he had one of his best seasons last year. Was one of the best pitchers in the rotation last year, outside of Chris Sale. But you're going to tell me, oh yeah, these Renner pitchers basically are so bad. When Spencer Strider's out here losing 5 in a row since his first start, and then he's 5-9 right now, has a shitty ass ERA that's like just at 4, has like 98 Ks in like 80 something innings. I think he threw like his 500th K. The dude is not the same because he's coming off Tommy John surgery. But everyone's like, oh man, Bryce Elder, you fucking suck. Carlos Carrasco, you fucking suck. Eric Fetty, you fucking suck. Joey Wentz, you fucking suck. But yet, Chris Sale's doing the same shit. AJ Smith-Shawver's doing the same shit. Spencer Schwellenbach's doing the same shit. And all of a sudden, oh, yeah, these new guys, they suck. But yet, you got the same. You're getting the same shit out of the starters. You're getting the same shit out of Spencer Strider. You're watching him do Max Fried bullshit, where Max Fried's giving up 3 runs before even the first fucking inning, or at least giving up 1 run in the first inning. Then you sit there and watch this great lineup from first inning to 6th inning, not do a damn thing. The fact that he even came back and beat the Marlins in the first game of this series, and now they go up in the rubber match tomorrow, yesterday, 2 days ago, whenever you watch this podcast. And the fact that, like, you're sitting there like, how is that even happening? Like, how is the lineup so shitty? How can you not get any hits out of this lineup? Figure it out. And they still can't fucking figure it out. They'll have, like, really good hot streaks and score 8 runs. Then they'll do the same shit they just did tonight, yesterday, whenever the fuck you watch this podcast. They'll do the same shit. They'll go out, give 8 runs, and then give you 2 hits on 1 run. And shout out to Eric Wagaman in the first game, former Trash Panda. Dude got cut, basically, or traded, something. Just wasn't playing very well. Gets on the Marlins roster, coming through AA, AAA, I believe. And then has a triple last night, 2 RBI triple. And has a run of his own. So don't tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. I know that I don't know everything. But I at least try to pay attention about the teams that I like to cover and the teams that are close to me. You know, I don't just half-ass it for 2.5 hours or 2 hours in the day. I try to get on here and give you a 2-hour podcast. And to be honest with you, I really don't even do a whole lot of prep. I do enough prep to where I can sit here and talk about certain things, and I implement the chat so that you're a part of it, so you can ask questions if you want, and I just try to give you my opinion. If it's not what you want, that's fine. We're not doing this for, you know, jerks of the world. We're doing this for people that honestly want to support a stream that's trying to do. I'm just trying to do my best. I'm just trying to be entertaining. Same thing when I play video games. I'm just trying to be entertaining. So I can't stand the Braves right now, but I'm still watching it. Apparently, I just want to be depressed all the time. Because, I mean, shit, I was watching some of the Braves game before I even started watching the Falcons game. But at least I'll go back and watch certain plays and give you my analysis and give you my updates and stuff on how the team played and what I saw when I was able to watch. Because fuck, local TV felt the need to put the Braves-Marlins game on instead of putting the damn Falcons game on. I think they meant to put the Falcons game on, and they just happened to put the Braves game on. I don't think they actually did it correctly. But I am excited for the Trash Pandas coming back next week. I think they play the Lookouts next week. And So I'm really excited about that because on Wednesday we're going to be doing Dog Night. We're going to be helping with the Greater Humane Society. Lady Bird's going to be there. She's going to help us work. She's just going to sit there and be pretty. So it's Knoxville. It's the Smokies. Apologies. They play Birmingham and then Columbus. They weren't losing 7 in a row. Shit. Those first 2 games against Knoxville, if they lose these next 2 games against Columbus, it could be, or at least lose this next 2 games. It'll be 9 losses in a row. Play Knoxville, who you haven't had really good chance with either, and play them and lose to them. Make it 10 in a row. This is what the standings looks like right now. Birmingham's on top. They're 27-10. They're playing electric. Knoxville, another team that I don't want this ad. Get out of here. Get this. Ooh, I just burped. I don't know what that is. A video on. Get this crap out of here. No, nobody wants this garbage. Get this crap out of here. There we go. Oh, I didn't. I kept clicking the wrong thing. Now I probably have like viruses. Knoxville's 18-18. And we said this before, like the South, the Southern League South, way more competitive than the Southern League North. And that was the same. It was no different than in the first half. I mean, you have Knoxville, who could be playing for second in the South right now. Chattanooga be pretty close too. But that's because the bottom half of the North isn't as good as the bottom half of the South. The bottom half, quit giving me these damn stupid ass ads. This website is full of ads. Biloxi could be third right now in the North, and they're in the bottom. Columbus was about this time in the first half. So we'll see what happens the rest of the season. There's only like 2 or 3 home series left of, I think there's 3 home series left, maybe 4. Don't hold me to that for the Trash Pandas. So we're pretty much done talking about everything we wanted to talk about. We pretty much broke down everything we were going to talk about. So why don't we just go ahead and switch over to On This Day in History, and then we'll finish up. All right. Hit the wrong button like normal. In 70 AD, the Tower of Antonia is destroyed by the Romans. In 1220, Sweden is defeated by Estonian tribes in the Battle of Lihula. 1303 AD, Crete earthquake strikes with an estimated magnitude of 8, triggering a major tsunami that damages the lighthouse of Alexandria and sweeps ships 2 miles inland in Egypt. There was like what, a 7 magnitude earthquake recently that was like causing tsunamis in like the United States, Japan, like Russia, all these places. Like that's wild. Or China. That shit's wild. Capara, founded in 1508, Spanish Juan Ponce de Leon founds Capara, the first European settlement in Puerto Rico. The Uraniborg Observatory, 1576, cornerstone is laid for Tycho Brahe's Observatory in Uraniborg, Denmark, which, when built, becomes the world's most advanced research institute. See here. John Davis enters Cumberland Sound in search of the Northwest Passage in 1585. Excommunication of Henry IV, 1585. Pope Sixtus excommunicates Henry of Navarre, Henry IV. Galileo demonstrates the telescope in 1609. That happened today. Presents his telescope to the Venetian Senate in Venice. Let's see here. Battle of Baltimore is founded in the British North American colony. Battle of Baltimore. The town of Baltimore, I can't even read, is founded in the British North American colony and of the province of Maryland in 1729 and 1758. British troops occupy and plunder Cherbourg. 1786, Jacques Balmont and Michel Paccard are the first to climb the top of Mount Blanc, the highest mountain in Western Europe. The United States $1 bill in 1786. U.S. Congress unanimously chooses their dollar bill as a monetary unit for the United States of America. A States General convened in 1788. French King Louis XVI convenes the Estates General held in May of 1789. The insurrection of Lyon occurs during the French Revolution in 1793. Bavaria joins the Holy Alliance in 1816. Pi Theta Pi is founded in Oxford, Ohio in 1839. Brigham Young leads the Mormons in 1844, is chosen the head of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints following the death of Joseph Smith. Smith & Wesson patents metal bullet cartridges in 1854. Russian fleet appears at Nagasaki, Japan in 1853. In 1863, American Civil War, Tennessee's military governor, Andrew Johnson, frees his personal slaves, celebrated as a holiday by Tennessee African Americans in the early 20th century. In 1864, Union troops and fleet occupy Fort Gaines, Alabama. I've been to Fort Gaines. 1868, earthquake destroys the city of Arica in Chile. Electric pen in 1876, Thomas Edison is granted the patent for autographic printing. U.S. patent 180,857. The U.S. Army installs the first tricycle landing gear on Army's Wright Flyer in 1910. Let's see here. Montenegro declares war on Germany in 1914. World War I in 1918, the Allies launched the 100 Days Offensive, beginning of the Battle of Amiens, where 500 tanks and 10 Allied divisions attacked German lines. First national march of the Ku Klux Klan between 25,000 and 40,000 marchers in Washington, D.C. in 1925. First Zeppelin round-the-world flight in 1929. German airship Graf Zeppelin begins the first round-the-world flight by airship departing from Lakehurst, New Jersey. What did the Hindenburg have to do with blowing up have to do with any of that? I don't understand what the Hindenburg had anything to do with that. 7th Venice Film Festival in 1939. 7th Venice Film Festival. Say that 5 times fast. Opens with a United States boycott due to Benito Mussolini's fascist Italian regime. In 1940, 31 German aircraft are shot down over England. Germany invades the Soviet Union in 1940, so that started. The German Aufbau Ost directive is signed by Wilhelm Keitel to mobilize German forces in the east and begin the search of Operation Barbarossa and the invasion of the Soviet Union. 1941, 20 divisions of the Soviet 6th and 12th Army surrender at Uman. In 1942, British Flower class corvette HMS Dianthus sinks U-379. Montgomery takes charge in 1942, is appointed commander of the British 8th Army at El Alamein. I've known that enough by playing Battlefield and Call of Duty and Hell Let Loose. I'm a nerd and a gamer. There's a lot of stuff that happened during World War II, seems like. I'm getting tired. We gotta finish this up. 6 convicted Nazi saboteurs who land in the U.S. are executed in Washington, D.C. in 1942. 1943, common chiefs of staff meet in Quebec. Canadian Polish troops occupy Kreminznel, Secouville, Syntax, and Saint-Agenant. I can't say that. Vegetables and fruit are rationed in the Netherlands in 1943. U.S. amphibians land at Saint Agata in the north coast of Sicily. U.S. 15th Army Corps occupies Le Mans in 1944. 1945, England and Australian armed services draw the 4th victory test. United Nations Charter in 1945. President Harry Truman signs the United Nations Charter. Treaty of London in 1945. U.S., USSR, Britain, France signed the Treaty of London, which sets down procedures for the Nuremberg war trials of Nazi leaders. Really good documentaries talking about this, too. Like, I read Operation Paperclip, and they talk about when they talked to Hermann Goering about, not only Hermann Goering, but like a lot of other like scientists that they brought over eventually, talking about how like, well, why did you do this or why did you do this, you know? And then they were like, well, the U.S. did stuff too, and it's like, yeah, but it's like y'all did some way worse shit. Like, and it was just kind of like the fact that they tried to like bring it up and say something that happened is just wild. Soviet hydrogen bomb in 1953. Soviet leader Georgy Malenkov reports possession of a hydrogen bomb. 26th of July movement, 1955. Fidel Castro forms the 26th of July movement, a Cuban vanguard revolutionary organization. Hamilton Tiger Cats in the CFL beat the Buffalo Bills in NFL in Hamilton, Ontario in 1961. I'm going to take that for... put that on something later. South Africa bans the Beatles in 1966. John Lennon's remarked that the band is more popular than Jesus. Nixon nominated in 1968 by the Republican Convention in Miami Beach. Yankees retire number 37, Casey Stengel. By retiring as number 37, Stengel manages the team from 1949-1960, winning 7 World Series titles in 10 appearances. Spiro Agnew's denial, 1973. Hank William Jr. falls on the side of Ajax Peak in Montana. In 1975, Hussein executes opponents in 1979, executes 22 political opponents. Let's see here. Let's keep going. I'm kind of done with all this. Let's see. Straight Outta Compton, 1988. You ever seen the War of the Worlds with Ice Cube? It got like a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's up to like a 4% now. A lot of like crazy shit happened on this day. Pete Rose goes to jail in 1990. His 5-month prison term at Marion Federal Prison Camp for filing false income tax returns. Gary Oldman arrested 1999 arrested for drunk driving. Gary Oldman, come on, man. Officer Gordon, drunk driving. Carlos Santana pleads no contest in 1991 for contest of marijuana possession charge, and I bet he smokes like a shit ton now. James Hetfield suffers burns. In 1992, Dream Team wins gold in 1992. Of course, you had Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Scottie Pippen, Charles Barkley, and Patrick Ewing. Oh, my neck. All right. Gangster's Paradise in 1995. A lot of by Coolio. A lot of good songs and stuff going on. Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2004. John Elway's inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Lawsuit over Rocky-inspired settlement. 2006, actor Sylvester Stallone and former heavyweight boxing contender Chuck Wepner settle lawsuit out of court on an undisclosed sum. Wepner claims that he is the inspiration for the Rocky movies. Let's see here. Let's see. Prison Medal of Freedom. Rugby championships. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about that. Simon Cowell horror bike accident in 2020 on his exercise bike. Basketball gold for U.S. women in 2021. Let's see here. Don't know who any of these people are. Let's look at birthdays real quick and get on out of here because I greatly appreciate everybody here. Remember to follow the channel on all social media platforms, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Straight Flexin', Twitch, TikTok, Facebooks, all those places you can find all the content, all the stuff. We'll have the video up on YouTube. We'll try to find the best clips, and we'll try to make those shorts as well. We'll probably take the shorts from what I said about earlier during the preseason game and turn those into shorts and try to get some traction through that way. Don't know who any of these people are. Johann Michael Bach, German producer in 1648, died in 1694. Amadeo Avogadro, Avogadro, I guess. Italian scientist who contributed molecular theory. 1776, he died in 1856. Joseph Locke, English railroad and civil engineer in 1805. Let's see here. P.L. Travers, Australian-British writer who created Mary Poppins, born in Maryborough, Australia, 1899. She died in 1996. Let's see. Anything else that I'm missing? Anybody I don't know? Sometimes I just kind of scroll through. I probably missed some. Toby Jansen, Finnish author and illustrator. Moomins, born in Helsinki, Grand Duchy of Finland, Russian Empire. 1914, he died in 2001. Marvin Minsky, American artificial intelligence computer scientist, 1927. He died in 2006, MIT. Bob Cousy, he's 97. He was born in 1928. Mark Weinberg, I don't know who that is. I thought it was Wahlberg, but of course my dyslexia set in. Rob Laver, he's 87, 1938 Australian tennis player. Ken Norton, American boxer, 1943, died in 2013. Chris Haney, Canadian journalist who created the board game Trivial Pursuit, born in 1950, died in 2010. Melanie Griffith, 1957, she's 68. John Key, I don't know who that is. Whitney Houston, she was born in 1963, she died in 2012. Brett Hull, he's 61, Canadian American NHL right winger. He born in 1964, he's 61 today. Deion Sanders' birthday is today, 1967. He'll be 58. Let's see here. Anybody else? Anybody else? Before we go, nope. Nobody else. So thank you once again. We're gonna cut it out short. It's getting kind of late. I was yawning a bunch, so we probably need to hit the hay. We'll probably get on maybe tomorrow sometime and do a little bit of gaming. Might do some Grounded 2. May do some RuneScape. Might do some Battlefield 6. We'll see. But like I said, I greatly appreciate everybody. And if you want to support the channel on Twitch, remember you can subscribe. Or if you want to send money to the stream, Cash App is $Coach Grizzle, Venmo @MassBraves. So we don't really ask for money. We don't expect donations, all those types of things. But if you want to make a donation, you want to make a donation to the stream and put it towards a great charity that we run or that we try to support, you can always do it that way too. So thank you again. We're going to get out of here. We're out of here again. We'll see you on the flip side. Peace.
I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone. They might be going to call George Brett out.
Well, he is. He's out.
Yes, sir.
Brett is out. Look at this. Brett is out.
He's steaming mad.
He is out.
Swung, fly ball deep left center. Grissom on the run. Yes! 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 The Atlanta Braves have given you a championship.
Auburn going after it. Here's a good snap. It is blocked. It is blocked. It's caught on the run. It's caught on the run. He's going to score. David Wagner. David Wagner has scored. And Auburn is tied the game.
It's good! It's good! It's good! It's good! It's good! It's good! Van Tippen has won the ball game. Alabama has beaten Auburn.
I'd like for the people to remember me as being a winner, because I ain't never been nothing but a winner.